Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live here on the International Public Radio, United Public Radio Network 105.3 FM in beautiful New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been with us since day one. Thank you, Folgers. And Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, who is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, who can be found pretty much anywhere that streams good music. So thank you, thank you. Tonight we welcome the return of Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and she's going to be discussing possession and deliverances, home and land clearings. So that'll be fun, getting a lot of good feedback on that. But in order to participate and ask questions, we're going to have to get you into one of our 8 chat rooms, being YouTube International Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio, and Facebook, Joe Montaldo, UFO Undercover, Canada's Most Haunted, moi, The Outer Realm with Amelia and myself, UFO Paranormal Radio, and United Public Radio, News on the Flip Side, and if you happen to be on Twitch, just look up UFO Paranormal Radio. Any of those chat rooms will come up to our board right here, and we're going to be able to see it all. Yeah, ain't that cool? So Doreen's first one in line.
Hello,
ding, ding, ding.
Doreen.
Way to go, Doreen. So first one in the chat.
I think I have our guest last name.
Oh, hi, Jeannie. Yes. Looking, everybody's like, yeah, coming on board, which is great. So this is good.
Hi, Janie. Yeah, it's Thursday. Woo woo.
I know, we're almost there.
That's when I get a little psycho.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Bear with me. Yeah, Thursday.
I'm just trying to get through the weather. It's been like snow. I can't get over how much snow we've had. I don't think we've ever seen this much snow in years.
I think we're making up for all the snow we didn't get. But I was out this morning and it is freaking freezing.
Oh, besides that,
in the Arctic
snow and
tundra.
it's freezing. Tell me that.
So cold.
I know. I thought it wasn't supposed to snow when it's freezing. It is.
Oh wow. My hat's off to the construction workers on the roads. That's all I'm saying. I know why they sell rechargeable heated gloves for people who work outside, because I saw them once online and I'm like, wow, okay. I guess skiing, and then I realized seeing them work today. No, it's the road.
Cold. We were under another cold advisory. I'm so tired of wind advisories, cold advisories, snow advisories.
I hope you guys are bringing your pets in.
Hey, Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
Referees. Oh, here we go.
Referees for the Hamilton White debate. If he wants us, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We adore him.
And I know. We love our temper guys.
Yeah. Don't think I didn't message him.
Oh. I put that out there as soon as I saw it.
I know. And I messaged him and said, make sure you contact Michelle. We've got your back.
Perfect. Yep. Mike. Oh, hold on. What do we have here, Mike?
Cold in Northeast Ohio, 25 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it sounds like a burr, because 32 is 0, right?
It's a burr. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we love it too, Wayne. So we'll just have to see what Hamilton wants to do. But on that note, I think we have Sean coming on February, was it 16th? I believe. So I think it's the 16th. So that'll be fun. Live, I believe, from the Sinclair Castle rooms. That'll be fun. It'll be fun always.
Fingers crossed that goes well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That'll be a fun record.
But tonight we're getting back into a little bit of paranormal. We don't do as much as we used to do, because we have people on, all walks of life and really interesting things. But again, we do get a lot of messages and people looking for certain topics, and they want to learn certain things. And so Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, who has been on before, and she was just a whole lot of fun, is going to be talking about, again, possessions and deliverances and house clearings, land clearings. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm just sending her the link right now as we speak. So you can, oh, hey, Sarah. So you can like fire off that bio anytime you want, and we'll wait for her.
Absolutely. I'm just going to
Hello,
close up my
Miami
book.
fan. Hello, hello.
Yeah, hi to everybody that I missed. It. I'm just trying to catch up right here.
Yes.
Our guest tonight, as you've heard, we've had her on before, and she's
Wayne,
always
hey.
a pleasure, and I love listening to her, and I could converse with her for hours. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge is an internationally renowned naturopathic doctor,
Right.
energy healer, remote viewer, paranormal expert, and consciousness teacher.
Yes, and we talked about the whole consciousness bit on the last time she was on, and it was really interesting. Oh, bam, bam, bam. Hello.
Hi.
There she is.
How are you?
Blurry. I don't know. Why am I so blurry?
I don't know. Maybe your lens. That happened to me once. And Michelle's like, just give it a little wipe.
I know. It's just that, so it's got a smudge finger on it. Yeah.
I have my grimy fingerprints everywhere.
No, this is like a brand new computer. That is so weird.
Yeah.
Did you take the film off?
Yes.
That would be weird.
I've done that.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Can you imagine? Yeah, that would be funny.
If it's that new, yeah.
That would be funny.
Oh, I'm blurry. That is so weird. I just taught a class that I wasn't blurry.
I don't know. Do you want to give it a
paranormal thing?
Hey, ooh,
Can I leave and come back in? Can I leave and wipe it off? Like, I want to go get like a.
Yeah, do you want to do that? Do you want to you can log out and come back with the same link if you want to really.
So I can leave this video and then get back in with
the same way with the same link. Yeah.
I want to be a real person, not a fuzzy person.
Yeah, that's okay. I just get the Windex out or something.
Okay, I'll be back. Maybe this might be a really weird paranormal thing. Who knows?
Ooh, it might be. We'll take you blurry if that's the only way we can get you.
Okay, well, let me try to be non-blurry, sweethearts, and I'll be right back.
Okay, thanks, Kimberly. Sarah Burbank writes, watching and listening almost a year now. Love you, ladies. You're fun. Oh, thank you. We love you. Thank you for supporting us and being here. And hi, Jessica. Yeah,
I know we are fun, aren't we? We're dang fun.
But everybody wants to hang out with us. So we're not as much fun in person.
But figure yourself, man. I'm a freaking riot. I might be a little grumpy.
She's never grumpy. She's such a liar. She's not grumpy. When she's out, she's happy.
Talk to Wayne.
That's because you're in the house.
It depends what I'm doing. I spent the entire day today researching for the Saturday show.
That's right.
Gray Zone Uncensored. It's going to be really fun. I can't tell you what it's going to be about until the day of, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
My BFF. What happened to your account? He had to recover his count.
I don't know.
I've seen Michelle in person. She's fine, right? Tamara, she's never grumpy. I don't know what she's talking about.
I know.
Wait, is she holding a Caesar in her hand? Just gotta.
No. I do that in the comfort of my own home. So, but a lot of really good research today. So,
Wayne. Sorry, I have to get Wayne's comment.
Before you were on here,
I could hear the trumpet with that comment since before you were on here. What exactly have you been watching? Okay. Yes, no food involved. Okay. Yeah. See, that's the magic. I feed her.
This is also true.
Oh my God.
But like I said, it depends what I'm doing. Okay. Here we go. Back and none such
Let's
blurry.
try this again.
All right.
Much better.
Oh, the puppets are back here too. This is nice.
Oh, look at the little Muppets in the back.
I know. They want to join
That was
in
so weird. I guess it was, I got a little bit of like Windex and cleaned it. So
give it a good.
Sorry. You know what? I get my fingerprints all over everything. Everything constantly. It's just crazy. And I'm like, really? Are my hands, I guess because they're warm? I would never make a good criminal because I leave my fingerprints everywhere.
They're like a sticky fingers.
You girls look so beautiful tonight.
Oh gosh, thank you. You do.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh
just
my gosh.
throw something together
Thursday.
and get on the air. It's like, yeah, you're almost to the weekend. So it's like, whatever goes, I'll grab this shirt, grab these pants, whatever works, give it a little bit of a
I've been really
backbone.
looking forward to this conversation because I love when we have paranormal night. Bubbles, yes, Tamara. I love when we have paranormal night.
Wait,
That's
what do you
fun.
guys usually talk about? You guys are like I thought you guys were like paranormal all the time. Like you guys are the paranormal queens. What are you talking about?
No.
I know
Actually,
that's a misconception.
I've been in the paranormal field for like almost 20 years.
I know.
But no, I think this paranormal probably comes up about 30% of the time in the show. We do, it sounds so wrong. I was going to say we do people from all walks of life. I have to catch myself as they're so wrong on so many levels. But no, we actually
we don't do that.
we have on people from so many different things,
Oh,
archaeology, doctors,
I
near-death
love that. Okay.
experiences, and people like yourself talking about consciousness and
Wonderful.
ufology and crypto, and
Yeah.
we do mix it up a bit. Oh, mix it up a heck of a whole
We
lot. Tamara.
personally are paranormal. We're very abnormal and unexplainable, but
This is true too. Yes.
try
I
to
know.
explain remote viewing to someone who doesn't know. They never get the concept. Tell me the truth. You do it.
Well, especially because everybody's like, no, what about the coordinates? And I'm like, I don't use coordinates. I just go there. They're like, how do you just go there without coordinates? I'm like, I can't with you people. Like you've done it since you were here. Like you can't explain it. Like, how do you explain it? You know what I mean? You just go there. But they're like, oh, I'm like, I don't know.
I didn't know either. I didn't know until I started working for someone who was running a group for missing children. And I said, oh, can I take your remote viewing course? And he said, honey, you are a remote viewer. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I didn't realize that the way I was reading.
Oh, you didn't realize
no, I had no clue. I always thought it because I was always told that it's a concept that you have to learn and it's a government program and they give you these numbers. No one ever said to me, this is something, that can happen naturally. And I had no idea. So that's why I loved you here because you're a natural.
I guess I didn't even know. Well, when you do it, like when you're 5, you don't know it's called remote viewing. You just do it. And then I found out there's even this other thing, and they call it like bilocation or trilocation, or you can send your consciousness out, and you can be like right now I can go tell you, go to my kids and tell you what they're doing and where they are and what's going on, and still be here with you. It's the most bizarre thing.
Right. No, I've heard of that. I can always tell when somebody taps in.
Can you?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I get very belligerent. Wayne will be sitting there going,
it's interesting. I'm going to ask you girls about this, about remote viewing. So
ask her.
when you're a good remote viewer, you can go anywhere, anytime, any place, past, present, future, outside the game, inside the game, whatever. But there's a lot of places that I come up and do a hard stop. I'm like, oh, I don't want to view these guys doing this and interact with these beings in this place. And I'm like, I back out real quick. I'm like, no, I'm not looking. I promise I'm not looking.
But once they see you,
I know.
You need a team. Michelle and I connect together. So you need someone to have your back and you need someone to work with you.
That's a good point.
That's because I could tap into her. I can even I can hear and feel her heart.
Oh my God.
I tap right in.
It's
when I go places, I just somehow I could just get taken there. I don't view, but I could get taken there, and I just seem to know what I'm supposed to do. It's really, really strange. But we're with her, because we've been working together the last 2.5 years. I'll say to her, "Don't you do that," and she'll be just like, "I'm like, don't you
start
do
laughing."
That.
I start laughing actually,
or I'll say, "Go left" or "Go right," or I pick this up over here, and because realistically, I can almost just tap into her senses. So it's just really different.
But Michelle allows me to go further because I trust her and I know she has my back. So she sees what I can't see behind me. I don't have eyes in the back of my head. Although when you're a remote viewer, it's like a 360 kind of view of a room. It's still, you need someone to feel and pick up on the energies around you. We work as a team. We don't work well alone. We work well alone, but we work incredibly well together.
And we work with others beyond the veil also. But it's just like if she feels edgy to me, I can tell, and I can say, no, don't do that, or bring in this or bring in that, and work from that perspective. So she's completely safe at all times.
Now, do both of you talk to like human discarnates? I mean, people call them ghosts. I call them human discarnates. But do both of you do beyond the veil work? Both of you?
I've primarily in the last couple of decades worked with malevolent energies. Can I?
Really?
I have, but she's Bubbles, get in there, see what it wants, or he or she, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I work mostly with entities.
I get to talk to
not the human spirits. Yeah. My schedule's always been just really busy, and anything benign I've referred to other people.
I didn't realize you worked with like the darker side.
That's all I've ever done.
Really? That's what I started out in. I'm like, this is for the birds.
Yeah, I didn't do it till I met Michelle. I never trusted anyone.
I've always found it fairly simple. But I also work with people's mindsets and such too. I believe that you almost have to become a teacher when you work with someone, because it really depends on what's going on up here. You can change the whole outcome so easily just by reframing the thinking and putting them in control. Okay, I'm just hearing bells and it's like, cool. Keep your crap to yourself. I don't want anything over here. I already have enough. So I'm kidding.
It's funny because we're hearing bells and the air is moving around me. So like beings are coming in. Definitely. They're like very attracted to the three of us, I think.
Oh yeah. I heard a little bit of tapping a while ago, and I'm looking and see if it's the dogs. And then I heard this boom, just like this. I'm like, oh, I'm the only one here, like in this whole entire space, aside from 3 little, 3-pound chihuahuas. That's it.
Wee-wees.
They're all sleeping.
Because they're so little.
They're all sleeping.
That's like I have a 1-pound one. Oh, she's like super tiny. She's a
hamster.
Oh, she's a hamster.
She's a hamster. I have a Morky. He's 15 pounds.
Oh, you have like a I have one that's about that. That's one of my bigger ones. I don't even know how many I have. I think I have 8 Morkies, 7 Morkies.
Oh, I love them.
I love them.
Big personalities.
Yes. Oh my God, the sweetest. They're like, I call them angel dogs. They are like the sweetest dogs.
Yeah, and they're so smart. Well, mine can be an asshole, but he's so smart. Right now, he's on gabapentin, so he's asleep in the other room. He doesn't even realize I left. So he's just like knocked out. He's going to be 14 this year, and he has a really terrible separation anxiety because of the pandemic. So because he's so used to me always being here that when I leave even for an hour, I come back and he's like hyperventilating, and
so sweet and sad.
Yeah, it is. But he's so smart. I love him, and so intuitive.
They are.
They're awesome. I love them.
Animals, natural psychics. What can you do? So mine will watch things come in and out and sleep through all of it.
Oh,
thanks.
Wow.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
I have one of mine all the time. So like if one of the times I had the Ovilus on, I don't know why I left the Ovilus on, and it was night, and she woke me up barking. And then the Ovilus said, after all the barking and the spirit stuff subsided, the Ovilus said, thank her.
Wow.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's awesome. They really are intuitive. When people will message and say, I think there's something in the house, I'll say, do you have a pet? And they'll say, yes. I'll say, follow their lead, because they will pick up on it. I've known researchers who've taken dogs on investigations with them because the dogs just right away, bing, and most of the time they're correct. But what I don't like about it is the fact that things can attach to animals, and animals can't speak. So they're the most vulnerable, just like little children who can't speak or communicate what's going on. It's just as bad for pets and animals because they can't tell you there's something wrong. And if you're not in tune with your pet, you wouldn't know that the behavior has changed. Or they might just seem off. Oh, what's wrong with you? Bad food, bad night, not enough sleep. They don't realize that there's something maybe more. Right? So that's where it gets a bit weird with people who want to bring their pets into certain locations and such.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I never thought about that. I've seen that with one program, and I won't mention what program it is, but he brought his dog in more than once. I won't because we're friends on Facebook, but I never thought anything of it because it was a really big dog, right?
Oh, wow.
And but I didn't think anything of it because it was a shepherd. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's like a police. You know, they're so smart when it comes to sensing and picking up things, but that's a good point.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you do? The dog will come out and tell you, hey, there's a problem. I've seen animals who have been happened to a family member's cat actually, and the cat's eyes went completely black and dove for her. I mean, I caught her midair, and I brought her down to the ground, and I held her down, and I knew, and then all of a sudden her eyes went back to her normal color, to the green, and I'm like, wow. But I mean, this cat came out of nowhere and dove at her head, and while she's standing up.
That's scary.
Yeah. Since when do cats fly? This
cats are amazing creatures.
Cats fly with a possess.
I know.
I fly too.
I know.
I love it.
It was a bit unnerving, just to watch it all in action. It was just like so unexpected. I'm sitting here, we're having a conversation, and all of a sudden I just turn around. This cat is airborne, and I mean, I caught her this far from her head. I just, and I was just like, geez, that was just insane. Yeah, the cat was zoned right out.
It instead of held it. Someone else might have,
Yeah.
No. As soon as I got my hands on it and I looked into its, I'm just like, I don't think so. That was just it. This
Again,
is not going to be a thing tonight.
Intention and mindset.
Exactly. My intention
That's a good example.
Yeah. It isn't going to get, you know what? And I've been guilty of this, I guess, my whole career. And I use the word a lot. I've tried to catch myself and stop using the word protection because like the three of us and many of the audience members, if you're like a trillion-year-old spirit, like who the F do you need protection from? Like you're older than all the entities and beings and corporations and, discarnates and whatever's coming against you. Like maybe you don't remember and you don't remember like, all the lives you lived and, all the powers you have, or maybe they're not activated. But I think that's such a weird programming, even for those of us that are really savvy, that we need protection. And of course there's stuff, don't get me wrong. You girls know this too. Of course, I encourage a high vibrating home in a sacred space. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But do we really need protection? I think that's a great question.
Do you need protection? I think if you can ground your energy, it's a little bit easier from things latching onto you, or
hold your body.
Exactly.
You're grounded. You're a little less grounded, but you're still grounded too. Oh. And I've learned how to hold my body. If you hold your body, I mean, discarnates will still walk in and entities will still cling on and things will still happen, but it's a lot harder for them to get in if you're holding your body. And when we run scans, and I don't know about you, what you guys will see, and I want to hear, but almost everyone is not holding their body, even like really awesome, like doing the work, working on their shadow, like savvy people, they're not holding their body.
Right.
And those are the people we see discarnates in. And we're seeing tremendous, I don't know if you've seen an uptick. I have never seen so many beings with other beings in their bodies as I have in the last year.
We talked about that once, and you're right. Yeah. You think with this a lot of lockdowns and the mindset, it's depressing.
But that's just it. It's the mindset. People are fed up. People are sad. People are scared. People are angry. I think when you have those kind of emotions, it's not that it makes you negative, but it would be considered maybe a negative emotion, something that would be enticing to something that needs to feed from that.
Maybe I'm seeing it more because the mindset's been like, the global collective mindset's been lowered into like sadness, depression, fear. Fear is the number
It's
one thing.
compromised. It's compromised, so it's easier to get in.
Yeah, let's face it. I mean, the powers that be and the media are constantly fear mongering and drilling these images into your head. After a while, it's almost instinctive. You're just like, gosh, again, after a while, you don't even know. People are just like, do I even need to be fearful right now of what's going on? I don't leave the house. Like, I'm safe in my space.
That's
That's
a very good point.
The division, the arguing, he said, she said, I agree, you don't agree, that, what I mean? Like, I think people, you just start to lose your faith in whatever it may be in. But I also feel that they're losing control, or they feel like they're losing control. So how can you focus on a collective when you can't even keep your own space secure?
We were talking about that, my daughter and I. Distraction. It's distraction.
Yes, exactly.
You fit right in.
That's right. Exactly. See, Tamara's got it right.
Yeah, it's like your spiritual immune system is down.
I love that.
Yeah, I do
Tamara's
too.
full of them.
She's got great
I love that spiritual
observation and skill.
I know. No, it's true. Every now and then she'll throw out a zinger like that. It's like, good. So
it comes from skill. It comes from experience. She's gifted. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's just the type of energy that you let your guard down because you're so focused on other things. And if something's going to come in, that's a pretty good time to get you while you're down. Call me crazy. Just a little thing or two.
No, I mean, maybe that is. I just was wondering what the uptick was because, like I said, I've just never. But that makes total sense.
Well, I'd be interested on your point of view.
Yeah.
No,
since you are the guest.
No, it was the observation that was like bowling me over. I really didn't go like the step back to really think about why. Okay. When I see them not holding their body though, I didn't go like beyond that, like you just did, to say, well, why aren't they holding their body? Like,
because I work more with mindsets than I do so much the physical part of things. Like for people who don't understand what holding your body is, maybe you can, explain to,
Oh, sure. So, well, first of all, and I don't know about you girls, but I'm like, it helps that I'm like part hippie, I feel, but I never wear shoes.
Right.
Like I only wear shoes. Actually, I started to drive out and I didn't have any shoes in the car and I was going to meet my daughters to eat. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. Like I had no shoes anywhere. I usually leave my shoes in the car.
Right.
Because I only wear them when places require shoes. I do not wear. As a matter of fact, and my dad can attest to this, and I didn't know this was a thing. Somebody just told me this is a thing. Grounding in snow is like a new thing, like on TikTok and stuff. I didn't know that. But I stacked wood for 3 hours with my bare feet on ice because to me, I didn't feel it. Like, and my feet didn't get numb just because, like, it doesn't matter the season. I never wear shoes. It's like those survival guys. Have you seen, like, there's a survival guy named Cody and he like goes through the desert and through the snow and stuff and he never wears shoes. And I didn't realize I was like that too until like I did it with no problem. Like, I didn't have to warm up my feet, didn't have to put on socks, just came in with no switch. So really, I think our bodies are made, if we condition them, and I don't mean just our feet, but there's just something. And actually, if you ground on ice, it's like, of course, different than if you're grounding on earth, but it's really purifying and sharp and astringent. It just felt really clean. It's hard to explain.
It's like the polar bear club, right?
Yeah,
when they jump in, it's just this pure cleanse.
Really, just like it was different than like
you fall into mindset again.
Well, I guess you're right.
Like where the cold doesn't bother you. I've walked in the snow bare feet. Usually it's just to grab like a cat bowl or something, but it's like never anything exciting.
I've done it to get my Amazon order.
Or getting into, let's say, a really hot bath where like it would be scalding, but you condition yourself. I do it by like almost getting into a shivering shake, like I'm freezing. And then I just get into super hot water and your whole body will go red, but it's just like, and it's after a while, it's like, it's only that initial.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like, how can people walk on coals and fire? It's mindset.
Yeah.
If you're afraid, you're going to get burned. Right?
I think so. I don't know.
Well,
Conditioning.
It goes back to like what you said. So you're using the word mindset, and I, in my words, would say creating your own reality, which is the same thing.
Right.
So whether we're doing it consciously creating our reality or whether we're subconsciously creating our reality, every single person in this realm, in 3D on Earth, we're all creating our own reality. So if you guys have like $0 in your bank account, you've created that reality. If you have $1 million in your bank account, you've created that reality. If you have a beautiful, peaceful home in a peaceful place, you've created that reality. If you're living in a falling down apartment, you've created that reality. But very few people want to take that responsibility for their beliefs, for their programming.
Right.
And then very few want to take action. So a lot of people come to us and we turn a lot of people away. We won't even do scans on them and stuff because they come to my staff and they're like, can she heal me? Can she increase my income? Can she?
It's the wrong intentions.
Yeah, bring my love of my life in, that I can marry. And some of my staff are my kids and they're like, my mom doesn't do that. She's not a magic pill. I'm like, thanks, guys. Thanks.
It's like a sideshow, right? You feel like a sideshow.
Yeah. It's true. I'm not a magic pill. I can, just like you guys do, I can inspire you. I can empower you. I can maybe help you think differently about things. I can teach you. We can strip bare your beliefs and your motivations. We can help you heal the inner child. We can talk about past lives. We can do a million things, but I'm not going to do it for you. And so the consciousness community has really conditioned people, and the telesummit industry is really guilty about that. For $97, you know what I'm saying? You'll get rich, you'll be healed, your immune system will be strengthened, whatever the promise of the day is. And it's a real disservice because these people get hooked, and it's not that hope is wrong. I think hope is good, but they're buying into that. Oh, well, maybe the next package will work, and I'll be abundant. It really comes down to action. I mean, we have to put action beyond, our creation. And yes, we can attract things, as you guys know.
But it's intention, vibrations.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not just the vibration of what you desire, but it's also your vibration. So we teach, I don't know if I talked about this before, and I'm sure you guys do too, maybe using different words, but when we look at an aura, we're looking for expansion. Are you connected to the all? Are you connected beyond the 3D? And how far up and where, kind of where's that connection missing? We look for purification. Is there darkness? Is there shadow? Is there density? Is there toxicity? We look for integration. Are you bringing all of you in a powerful, potent package to what you're desiring, kind of like an arrow point? Or are you scattered in your altars? Or do you? So we look for those things.
But that's a perfect word, scattered, because when when you were explaining it, you're seeing more, disembodied incarnates into the other physicals. Maybe that's the word to use, is people and their energy, mindsets, everything. They are simply just scattered. It's pretty confusing out there for a lot of people. I think you have to be happy in your world in order to want to take the time to either meditate or set your intentions, raise your vibrations. Raising vibrations, that's all really positive stuff. And some people are maybe finding it very difficult.
But you have to hold yourself accountable first. No one does that. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to take responsibility. Everybody has choices. People don't get to places because they're lucky. They get to places for their choices. And self-pity doesn't work. If you're there, you're going to wallow even longer, and that brings on depression, and that's a whole other thing that takes some time to come out of. No one's judging, but you do, and I don't mean to say but, respectfully, you do have to be accountable for your choices. And once you do that, it changes everything inside of you. And then you're more open to getting healthy on the inside.
We see that a lot too when we work with people, is this victim mentality. My ex did it, my boss did it, my parents did it. And we're not denying influence of handlers and negative people and traumatic abusive situations. We're not denying that, but there comes a point where you're living in the now, and the now and the now, or you should be. And so you don't have to live under this programming that other people in situations have put you under and allow that to be your excuse. It's funny. I have one gentleman, and I tell him this to his face, so he won't mind me sharing, but I've been working with him about 7 or 8 years, and occasionally we'll have a one-on-one every 3 or 4 months. I just realized we just had a one-on-one, and I realized that 7 years ago, I could have recorded our first one-on-one and just played it throughout the years, because I'm saying the same things 8 years later, because there was no action. It's all, my mom, my mom, my mom, my mom.
It's passing the buck, basically.
There's no movement. There's no, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, go look for an apartment. And then you get to the excuses. It has to be perfect. The apartment's moldy, it's old, it's expensive, it's too cheap, it's in the wrong neighborhood, it's in a busy neighborhood, and so I think that's where the Matrix program and programming comes in, because there are many energies here and many entities here that are for you, but there's many that are against you, and they feed us, this programming and these excuses too.
I agree. I like that word, the Matrix. A lot of people, no, I do, because some people believe that it's all a simulation, and I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe there really are little green men on the moon.
That simulation pushed the narcissist button on this generation. Just saying.
No, it's true. No, I do believe in multiverses, and I do believe in dimensional everything. It's amazing, because when you start out in the field of the paranormal, it's you have black, you have white, and you have a little bit of gray in the middle. You don't realize how vast it actually is until you're in the field a really long time. And I look at everything now, like somebody will just give me just a basic question about something, and I'm just like, I don't have basic answers anymore, because it can go off in so many different directions. I was asked to appear on a show and talking about like even ley lines or portals, and like, well, how do you want to talk about them? Do you want to talk about power spots? Do you want to talk about how they were important to the ancients and why the ancients built their temples here? Blah, 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 blah. It went from here to like this. And she's like, I don't know. What do you think? What I want to talk about. It was fascinating, but to hear it just, coming out of my mouth, I think to myself, somebody could have asked me that same question even 10 years ago, and I would have been like, blah, blah.
Have you, sorry, I'm getting information, so I just have to ask. So excuse me. But
okay.
Michelle, have you gone into, how much of your past lives are you aware of? Because I'm seeing some of your lives right now. I just wonder, am I allowed to say one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Something I'm seeing?
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of priestess temple work you were involved in. Like, so I'm merging with that life. So I'm in your presence, and it's just like, it's bringing tears to my eyes in the sense of like I can't even explain it. Like, just like power and all, like just definitely high up in the, temple priestess and priest, because you weren't just a woman, system. So just a lot of real ancient wisdom there in that system, it looks like to me.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Always feel free to share. It has a few, couple million
when you were
personal
talking
friends
about that, portals
I like it,
lines and archaeology, almost like all of a sudden in this life, I see things like movies. So your movie opened up, and I'm just like watching you. So anyway, and I'm like there.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I've gotten, I've been led, by spirits to many of my lives, and I've had them validated. And I have heard this one a little bit before, just different formats.
It's like, like the word all, like, it's just like I get chills in your presence, like the power and the like, you're something.
Well, thank you. Would you like me to send you over some of that energy? Pass it on to the three of us. Can all bask in its glory.
Threesome. I'm falling. I'm so
I
tired
share.
today.
No, thank you. Thank you. No, I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh.
I love it. I love past life stuff. I think I think it helps you to understand a little bit. Like for me, what it did is it helped me realize the void that I had felt, the sense of leaving someone behind, that
Oh,
sense
wow.
of the sense of mourning that I wasn't, I know why we're not allowed to remember everything, because we would be going through so many grieving periods. And
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to be content because the past.
yeah,
Okay, so I have some past lives that I've remembered. Actually, I thought I started writing a book and I thought I was writing fiction.
oh,
And then more memory came in and I realized I wasn't writing fiction. I was writing my life, which is bizarre when you realize
I
that.
love it. I love
But,
it.
it's a Southern Belle, like 1800s type of life. And it's like super just amazing. And even now there's a grief for some of those relationships of those people like you're talking about. So I think if we remembered trillions or millions or thousands of years, the grief would be almost too overwhelming to even be here now and focus on our relationships and our, why we're here now. Because even that small amount, I don't know about you guys, of memory I have, like there's this yearning and this longing for the depth of that relationship.
Always. I've had past life people come through, even like through spirit boxes and things like that, and answered so many questions that I was able, it put me at peace. But then again, you go through a different sense of mourning.
Yeah.
And then you come out of it again. It's very hard to explain it all. But I don't know. I love getting the tidbits. So thank you.
And it's neat because, and I have chills right now, but we're eternal beings, but everything here kind of like pushes us down into like the quicksand of daily life, like paying the electric bill and like my refrigerator is empty and my dog needs to go to the vet. It's like, and I'm tired and the house needs clean. Like there's so much distraction here. It's just really super challenging, sometimes to remember that we're these eternal beings and that this life is not all there is.
We're just on a human journey.
Yeah.
That's it.
But outside of here, there's everything. There's all possibility. And we get to choose. And religion, including the Eastern religions, which usually does a better job, in my opinion, teaching about death and the afterlife than the Western religions and history. They do quite a bit better job, but still, we think that death is this material. Well, there's really no death if you're an eternal being. Hello, it's a switch of avatar or no avatar if you just want to go back to being light, color, and sound. But how exciting, like death doesn't become this depressing thing. Well, maybe for your loved ones, as we were just talking about past lives, but it becomes this amazing, delicious thing where if you're 60, 70, 80, you should be thinking now about what you want to do next. Do you want to go back on a ship you might have been on? Do you want to go to another game realm? Do you want to come back here? If you want to come back here, do you want to come back here? We think it's so linear, but you can come back here and go back to the Old West, or you can come back here and you can go back 7,000 years in the future. So we're taught this, that, that we control everything.
No, I think it's amazing because you're thinking, people who are going how many years in the future, maybe those are our time travelers, just kind of slipping through dimensionally or through a time slip back to this time. There's things that you just, if you've been to the past or you've been to the future, you just know how to, there's even, conspiracies out there that George Lucas went and did a time travel thing, and he came back and said this is going to be a hit. Pretty much gave him Star Wars, and it's like that's one of the real big ones. And he came back and he wrote it.
Star Wars is a time travel thing. I've never seen these movies. I'm like the worst.
George Lucas was said to have. I don't remember all the details, but I do find it rather interesting that there's a lot of people.
I think Star Wars is a secret space program reveal, not a timeline thing. It's now.
Star Trek definitely was, because Gene Roddenberry was said to have met with the Council of Nine, and they instructed him to show people what was out there, and they would come back after so many years, and they are said to be back. But of course, Gene didn't survive to this point, but I think he did an amazing, Star Trek. You look at it now.
I always say Star Trek is fact. Star Wars is fact.
Yeah.
Stargate is fact. All the Expanse is fact. I mean, all of these shows and movies.
The Council of Nine. They live in a void. Sounds like the Q to me.
I wonder why I have such a hatred for, like, I don't have an interest in them at all. I wonder why. I think I'm one of the few in this field that has never seen Star Wars and never watched Star Trek.
I dig stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't enjoy it. I tried to watch Star Wars. I put it on and I'm like, oh my,
Jessica's saying the same. I need to watch these.
Pretty much the same person. Yeah. It's a family thing. Yeah. Okay. Eric said we're watching these movies once a week. When did you start watching Star Wars, Eric? He's my BFF. When did you start watching Star Wars? Like, why haven't you told me? See, everybody has seen it but me. I know, Jessica, you haven't, because we watched action films because her dad is my brother. And yeah, I never enjoyed that kind of stuff, but I love anything to do with at Amelia Wayne. You don't like space stuff or aliens. That's true. I don't.
See, well, my comfort level is very different. Like a lot of different things. Yeah. My sense of adventure. I always say it comes from way back.
Let me tell you guys a fact that will blow your mind. It's just a fact, 100% fact.
All right.
This is going to blow your mind. Okay. Every single Hilton hotel has a jump room or a jump room floor in it.
Why?
Because the elite go there. Well, it's owned by.
They jump. Yes.
So they jump room. They jump and people are like, well, where do they jump? They jump from one side of the world to another. Yes, yes, in this realm, but they also jump to Mars and Venus and Jupiter.
They do
too. Yeah.
No, this is true. Antarctica.
In Antarctica, dark fleet.
Rothschild Island, not too
far.
Oh, that's a whole other. Yeah, we could do a whole other show just on crap like that. Jesus. So yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Actually, I don't doubt.
And to me, a Stargate portal. So let's throw this out. Here's a general question: what's the difference between a Stargate and a portal? I would say nothing.
Same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Verbiage, right?
No, yeah.
I have the best picture. It's not mine, but it was shared with me. It was just shared in a Bigfoot group of this being, and you can tell it's like a human type. I'm not saying it's like pure human. It might be like fae human or part fae, whatever, going through a portal in a tree. It is clear as day. It's not one of these things where you're like, what is that? And what is that? Like, there's portals all around you. There's probably portals we are portals, first of all, as you guys know, but homes, don't you deal with portals in homes? People don't even
have them in my house. Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, they're always around.
Yes.
Yeah,
but people don't know that. They're
no, and that's a good thing, I think, sometimes, though.
Oh, well, probably.
Yeah. Depends how you're using it, because you might not come back. So.
No. So I guess I should probably touch on a little bit of this darker stuff and bounce around a bit. I know we got people tuned into it. So let's touch on the demonic then, since we'll blend this in a little bit with
let's go there.
Do we see, this is one of those things that for me, I had an attachment. I've worked with people with attachments, but religious mindset tells you these are demons. But I've had extraterrestrial experiences from the time I was a child. Did I have a reptilian, a draconian, or did I have a demonic? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Because some people believe it's either one or the other. Very few believe in both.
Is so interesting, because I came from such a polarized, and you mentioned this is what we're talking about, you guys. We're talking about when you've really been and you're open enough to change and to repeated observation, you end up different than when you started. So when I started, I was born again Christian, and I'm like, everything's a demon. Like every attachment, every spirit I saw inside of someone, this this is kind of stupid, but when I was really young, I didn't even know about like human discarnates possessing people. I know that's so stupid. So I thought they were demons too. So everything, like I was like, you know how they say a demon behind every bush? That was me.
Right,
like,
right. No, media makes me say that. My producers make me say that. So
so everything was a demon. And so everything was like Jesus Christ, you know, and the typical standard, more like the Catholic Church exorcism is how I started out, you know?
Right.
And as I progressed through the years, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much freaking stuff that can be inside of houses and couches and people and refrigerators and animals and land. And the sky's the limit.
Right. Right.
Like I ran in today in this little Podunk gas station. I am telling you, I thought he was a tall gray, but I think he was a Men in Black. The creepiest experience. I mean, when I walked in, he had his back against the milk case and his eyes were burning through me and I was running frequencies trying to match, you know, I'm like, this is not human, you know, what ET race is this? And I've just come such a long way from not even believing there were other races, because when you're brought up in a heavy, like Baptist home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You said reptilian. They would have said that's a demon. Like everything's
That's
a demon.
what I mean. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Or
Roman Catholics the same.
Or archons, you know, even the Gnostics spoke of archons, these beings above that could manipulate your thought process and your emotions and your vibrations and your frequencies without even stepping foot on the planet.
But I think of the archons as the god, and I'm using gods as how we think of gods, I guess, the Greek and Roman type of gods. So when I say gods, I mean what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, just not kind.
But they're outside of the game.
Yes.
And a lot of the ET races that aren't even the archon races, from what I understand and who I've talked to. Okay, so now we're getting into like crazy stuff. But anyway, so
it's a crazy show. What do you want? This is the kind of stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
I believe this is a game realm, just to be, you know, perfectly clear. It's a Matrix game realm, and Westworld shows it to us, and a lot of these show us. What's that? The game with the girl with the arrows. You know, the movies. You know, they show us at the game.
The Hunger Games.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
that I watched.
Stephen King, who's the high priest way up in Satanism, shows us too with Under the Dome, right? So they show us over and over and over again. And the elite and the entertainment industry are usually children of elite, sons of elite, daughters of elite, are married to elite. The cabal, I'm sorry, you guys. I mean, everybody's like, the cabal, they're so evil. I don't care whether they're evil or good, because polarity is a game thing. But the point is, they have the knowledge. They have access to manuscripts that we don't easily have access to. Some of them have been under the Vatican. The Alexandrian Library was burned, and so many of those books, they didn't burn them. They burned the library. No one ever said they burned the books. They spirited the books and the magic books away. And a lot of those books have the history of the ages, and even outside the game realm. And we're in a lot of those books. So a lot of the really powerful fire creation spirits like you, there's probably books and stuff you even wrote in there, you know, but they don't let us access them.
No.
But yeah, so I got a little, what were we talking about? I got way off on bunny trails.
I don't know, but it's funny you say that, because there are some times where, you know, we'll be working or I'm researching and I'll just say, show me. Boom, 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 boom. Everything I need is right there. Or we'll be working and she'll say, well, okay, what are we going to do now? And I'm just like, I don't know, I got to think for a minute. And I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And it works.
That's really awesome.
And we're like, wow, it worked.
We think about that like a year ago.
Yeah, not this time.
I got way off. We were talking about the whole demon thing. Well, back to that, you know, so much of the simulation to me, though, is simulation. Like I was talking about the guy I ran into, but like everybody's like, oh, all trees are organic. No, not all trees are organic. When you go into cities, like I'll give you a great example, Central Park. And you girls will be able to discern the difference. A lot of those are sim trees. They're not organic.
Been there.
You can't communicate with, I'm not all, there are some, but not as many as you think. So everybody's like, nature is always nature. No, it's not. Nature is not always nature. There's simulation nature. And even a lot of the portals, they're not all in organic trees. Some of them are complete simulation. And if you go into the national parks and you really are sharp and higher level, you can find all their holographic entrances that they thinly disguise. Every national park has tons of entrances, both to inner earth and to the underground bases. It's not all underground base stuff. It's also other realms and other kingdoms that are, below.
I believe that.
It
Yeah.
makes so much sense because Yellowstone National Park has the most missing campers and hikers of the entire
national
world.
parks, yeah,
But
in the US,
Yellowstone
they're
has the
missing
highest
the
amount,
411.
and they've closed off areas because of it. So
Yeah,
that
people
just
disappear
fits
like
right
right in
in.
front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is my theory.
Yeah.
And maybe it's someone else's theory too. So I'm not saying no one else has ever said this, but this is my personal theory that I haven't heard a lot anyway. I think every national park is a national park to protect the magical, mystical races they don't want us to run into, like the dogmen, the Bigfoot, the Fae, the little people, the trolls, the
They need a
gnomes.
place, right?
And I think it's to kind of, I know it doesn't make sense because you're like, well, people go there, but it's such a vast area. And I think sometimes it gets out of control. I think they have agreements with some of these beings, like you stay in the caves, but then what do we do when a human crawls 7 miles into a cave? You can't really say it's the being's fault when we're going
you're in their territory.
their territory.
I agree with you. And I mean, a lot of the indigenous cultures speak of that. Look at the Hopi with the ant people that live under the ground. Yeah. Many of the indigenous cultures all over the world speak of subterranean worlds.
My daughter in North Carolina, little people are big, and I actually have some great pictures of little people on my property. But she went to Western for a while until I let her come home because she's like, this is just not my thing. But they actually have tunnels that they've closed off under the whole campus that are like this tall.
Wow. Oh. Little tunnels for little people.
All over the whole town, like vast. We're talking vast tunnel systems that are like this tall, and they closed up a lot
of little people.
Little
puckwedgies.
Exactly.
She just loves that word. She needs a place to put it.
No, they're exactly. Well, yeah, and people use that term loosely. So some people call little furry Sasquatch little people.
I just had to say it because I love the word.
It's
and
her
I had
favorite
a guest.
new word.
Yeah, we had a guest on a few weeks ago. Puckwedgie.
She just loves saying it.
I heard that word, but I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
The little people.
It's a little person.
Puckwedgies out in like Massachusetts area, East Coast, United States.
Oh, that's what they call
we have
them.
puckwedgies.
Little people. As a matter of fact, my security system picked it up and woke me out of a sleep. And I looked on the alert because it's like person on your side yard or driveway or whatever. And I look and there's this person. And I took pictures and everything, and I have them. And I called the security system and I said, how do you identify a person? Like when you say person versus movement or whatever, they said it's proportion head to shoulders to have like a range of proportion. Right. And so I said, so if I show you a picture, and they'll say, well, we don't know what that is, but it's proportionate person. So when I say little person, I don't mean like fuzzy little Sasquatch, which a lot of people call
a little person.
I mean, just like us wearing clothes.
Right.
Just little.
Kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids thing.
Yes, exactly.
That's interesting. Like there are stories of little people who don't resemble quite these little people dressed the way you're describing, who have kidnapped like people our size. People gone missing. Kid you not. I come across all kinds of freaking research.
Since I know they're around here. I'm like, maybe we need to make a new deal. No, they were cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
To say, we're here, welcome. And I always have, this is my agreement with all the beings on my property, because I live in a habitation site. I say, I will not hurt you if you do not hurt me. I will respect your areas if you respect my areas. I will not destroy your home if you do not destroy my home or harass my dogs. I make that agreement, and it, for the most part, except for a few prowling things that come through, it works out pretty well.
Sounds like the elementals with us.
Yeah, elementals though, but we know how to keep them pretty content. And I only found that out from a elderly friend of mine who came to me quite a while ago as I was asked to look at him as being someone who needed assistance from darker energies. And the woman who contacted me was his assistant. And she goes, he's a gift to the world will lose a gift when he passes. And I was just like, okay, I got to know him. Like we would talk 2-3 times a week.
Wow.
Being elderly, he loved it. And I learned so much. And he helped me, on other cases just by
Wow.
randomly saying, the first case was, I said to him, I says, he goes, what's up with this? And he named the city of where this person lived. I went, okay, like, well, there's ley lines there. So it's just amping up all the energy. It's just a little bit hard to work it. And he goes, so just move it. I'm like, what? He goes, just move it. I go, you can move a ley line? He goes, yeah, give me a minute. In a minute. But I found out he actually works with the planet. He works with whales. He works with different species.
That's cool.
Dolphins.
Yeah, he's just extraordinary man. And as soon as he moved it, and I mean, I don't mean move drastically. I mean, just inches.
Oh, okay.
The homeowner messaged me. She goes, something just happened. Everything just changed. Like the energy just shifted. I was just like, because she's very gifted medium as well. I'm just like, like literally right now. And then he's on the phone saying, how does that feel now? I'm just like, apparently it's good. It's like,
yeah, thank you.
Yes. And of course he cued me saying, this is how you deal with elemental spirits. This is what they do. This is what they're about. This is what they like. This is what they don't like. And as soon as we applied that, it was a game changer wherever we found them.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Major
no more
game
interference. No more,
happier.
Well,
yeah. They used to be
one
mischievous like Faye. Like they used to be so difficult, go into homes and,
Really?
mess with everything, the energy, the people, everything. And then when he taught us that, it was a huge game changer for all of us, not just us, but also the people seeking help. Yeah.
I know, but there are, if I've learned anything in this field, I've learned that there are extraordinary people who do extraordinary things. And I've had the pleasure of working with many through the years. I have the honor of knowing many, such as yourself also. And I realize that, my gosh, we really are a grain of sand on a very big beach, and people can do phenomenal things. Just because you don't hear about it doesn't make it not so.
And even those of you that are saying, not me, my psychic abilities are not activated. I could never do that. I could never see that. I could never move that. I could never do that. That's untrue. Anyone that is not an empty vessel, which there are empty vessels, but anyone who has a part of the all can do anything we're talking about here.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Just to get to some of the questions.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Oh, no, he's still alive.
No,
Sorry.
he's still with us.
The man
he's
you're talking
well.
about.
Yeah.
Expanding on elementals. Do you want to take that one? And I give my 2 cents after.
No, why don't you start and I'll chime in if I have something to say.
Okay. Well, basically elementals, they can be real mean little buggers. So we've seen them just tear through houses, create a lot of havoc, cause a lot of upheaval in your space. And they are just like they sound, elementals: earth, wind, water, right?
Fire,
Earth,
yeah.
Everything fire. And he said they love light. They stay in the trees. And if the trees aren't happy, if things are draining energy from the trees, then they're going to go and look for it elsewhere, and they're going to be miserable. And we started paying more attention to that. Every location we went to, we would specifically look for elementals, and we would hit light at the trees, and you would see them come up, in the fall. They would go down to bed, in the winter.
Hi,
Hey, Rick. And it was phenomenal. So by lighting up the trees and the roots, it kept the elementals at bay.
They're actually very sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet. They have the most adorable giggle ever. And I Yeah, it just was really shocking the first time we applied it. It was just completely shocking to us because, when you have that kind of disruption and the fear that happens to homeowners because new homes are going up into these forested areas, you're invading their home.
It's true.
So they're just fighting back, right? So,
well, they like things done their own way. They're protector. They're earth spirits.
yeah.
It's all about the trees, the planet,
Offerings.
everything.
Yeah.
Offerings. It's all about that.
Yeah. I don't think there's anywhere you can read about his work. I think he's very private, isn't he?
He's very, very private.
Yeah.
They always say
they're
first thing
chosen people, Dave. They don't
the first thing his assistant said to me was, he's not from here.
Yeah.
Ooh,
very, very private. You can't just connect with him. He's not that person.
Wait, did he reach out to you guys? Did he reach out to you? That's how you met him?
Yes. His assistant actually messaged a friend of mine, Linda Corino, who I filmed with. And she goes, I don't know they're close.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I said, sure, because he had a lot of dark things coming in. He picked up, and it was weighing very heavily, and he had issues with extraterrestrials and things like that. So I said, okay, no problem. Yeah. Right. And I know it was amazing. He's just, but I find with all of this that I've met other really amazing individuals through that process, because within a month of him was another lady who we assisted, extremely gifted. And it's always this dark energy that infiltrates the gifted who are doing light work.
Sometimes it makes you wonder who they are actually after. Is it the person coming to you for help, or is it to you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It makes you wonder, it's like you're chosen to be at that battle. And it makes you wonder, what is really going on here? Are they tormenting them because they know that I'll be there, or Michelle will be there, or we will be there, or you'll be there? Anyone who does light work, you have to ask that question. You have to be aware of who you're helping.
It's a kind of heavy thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I accidentally tapped. No, it's a new microphone, and if you just tap it, it mutes.
Okay. No.
Yeah. So it's important to know.
What are your thoughts? What kind of people in your field, like with what you do, end up, let's say, possessed or attached, and how do you deal with that?
I'll give you an example again. So sometimes I'll start a session, like this, on Zoom, and we'll start, and all of a sudden I'll be like, okay, I'm not talking to you. We can't go any further. And even though I don't really want to pull things out of people in a one-on-one when we're not even focusing on that, we're like trying to accomplish something else.
Right.
I have to. I want to make sure I'm talking to the core spirit that's supposed to be in the body, not all the hangers on and whatever. So sometimes I'll just pull them out. And it's interesting because, and I know you guys are individualize it, but all the books you read, it's so generalized. Like, I don't know if these people are fakes or what, but I deal with each situation because these are beings that are exactly like us, that have their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own experiences, their own age, their own associations, their own philosophies. And you have to deal with each being, even if there's 3 beings in someone. I don't deal with the group. I deal with them as unless they're like intertwined in some way. I deal with them as individuals. And so sometimes I'm super nasty. Well, I used to always be nasty. Like, basically, my version, the religious version of get the F out of here. Now
I love it.
I start nice. So not for me. Nice for me isn't necessarily nice to the end result, but I'll be like, hey, could you leave, and could you step out at least for this time so, we can focus. And sometimes they're like, no, we've been here like 7 weeks. Who are you?
Yeah.
Give me attitude. And I'll be like, no.
Okay, no negotiating here.
Mom, he lives in a crappy place. I know a bunch of better places for you guys. And they're like, well, like what? I'm like, well, I know a guy. I'm not going to say where he lives, but he has a huge man. He's someone who did me really, really wrong a long time ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah. And I say, I know a guy, and he has a theater in his home, and he has a pool, and
how's that karmic reaction for you?
And they're like, okay, we're gone. Where is he? And I'll just tell him. I mean, they work on frequency signatures. So all I have to do is say his name and they locate him immediately and they're gone.
But don't you pay for that, Kimberly?
Don't I what?
Karmically pay for that, for sending this to?
Okay.
No? Okay.
You want to hear my belief? I used to believe in karma. I used to use the word karma. Now, this reality is a mirrored reality, which is very close to karma. So there is a cause and effect. But I haven't told you the whole backstory. Believe me, the backstory that he has accumulated against me is like this. I haven't even matched it halfway yet. He's still got a lot more coming before there's like an even energy.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah,
he's a timeline enemy. We've danced in many, many, many lives. Sometimes
that's a whole different thing.
Sorry, this is a really.
Just to make it clear for the audience so that they don't start throwing energy around, because
their
boyfriend broke up with them, kind of thing.
Them to people.
Yeah. So then they call Michelle.
It's interesting.
We've got a waiting list. I'm just saying.
That's true. But karma is an interesting word because I've changed my mind. I believe that karma is a belief. So if you believe in karma, and it comes up on tons of people, but it comes up on tons of my clients because they believe that in their past lives, or they brought it in believing that. It goes back to what Michelle said at the beginning of the show. And she says, I'm sure through many shows and in her private consultations, it's a mindset. It's your belief. We create our own reality. If in your reality, there's karma. Have fun with that. My reality is there's not. There's cause and effect, which is a multiverse, multidimensional thing. So if I go out and kill 10 people, even if I don't get caught here, let's say I get away with it. Let's say they never catch me here for whatever reason in the game. But that will come around in some way in the same intensity as I dealt it out here, because it's a lower frequency action. So eventually that mirror will slam me with that same frequency. So do I believe in karma? If you want to call that karma, but karma has a heavy negative. Even if you say it, it just has this heaviness to it that I think is programmed to be under. I'm not under anything. I'm free as a bird. And you know what? If you're going to come against me, I have a multiverse right to meet you with that energy exchange.
I love it.
Everybody here
I really love it.
Kimberly says no karma.
Yeah, Eric said he has a few names. No, Eric.
And that's a rare view, because definitely everybody talks about karma. And again, I want to be clear. I do agree in cause and effect, which is it's kind of a different frequency, though, if you kind of dig into it.
Right.
Can you help Wayne then? Because Wayne says, I suffer from instant karma.
He's got the worst luck.
I would say.
No, but you know what? He's the nicest guy. That's why he never releases anything.
I would say he's a light being. He is.
Well, no, I'll tell you what his problem is. I see it. Do you want to know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I tell?
Do you want to know, Wayne?
Yes.
Wait.
To know. Of course, he wants to know.
Does he want to know? I don't want to.
I want to make sure before we
Did he say yes?
Yes.
Okay. He has a savior implant.
He has a what?
Savior implant.
Yeah.
He does.
He's a white knight.
So he's carrying others. I can see them. He's carrying, oh my gosh, so long, way before this life. Wow. Whew.
There we go.
Sorry, I have to unmerge from him because he's carrying way too much.
Okay, now I feel left out.
Why?
Because I want to be read.
Oh, I will. But you're so okay. Can I say? Okay, so can I?
You can say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
We're Michelle. Yeah. Go ahead. I want to know more about Bubbles.
No. First, I'm going to
3 million other people.
Here. Okay. So Michelle is. I'm getting to you, but I'm going to do it in a comparison way. Michelle is chosen to be in the game. We'll just talk about the game. We won't talk about before the game because she's ancient. Yeah. In the game, Earth, previous incarnations, Michelle hasn't just played light, let's say. So Michelle's a very complex being who's really wanted to experience the all in the game, and she's chosen many different ways to do that, many different paths. You are don't be offended. Michelle won't be offended, and me, Michelle and I are the same, so I'm putting myself in the same category. You, Amelia, the reason I haven't read you is because you have chosen to play lighter. You talk about elementals and fae. You've chosen to be some of those beings. You've had lives that just this purity and this light and this love and this color and this sound. And so you have a purity that is,
I need an Oscar, but thank you.
No, there's a difference here, and it's individual choice. We all choose our experience. It's not right, wrong, black, white.
I can't hurt anyone. I can't hurt anyone.
Am I
Even
right?
when I'm angry, I can't. I'm definitely that person.
But you've chosen that over and over again. So let's say you're 75 and there is no time. So we're only using time so people understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, and you're a very ancient being too. But let's say for 75,000 years, I would say for anytime you've chosen a dark life, you like couldn't even handle it. Like you can't even try to be evil. You've never even successfully been evil or dark.
Where Tell my brother that. I'm going to send this clip to both of my brothers. I'm kidding. They put me up here. I'm kidding. I love them.
With the villain role. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Totally. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
I've often been told
no, you're just light. You're just sweetness and light. Your purity. Purity is one of your primary frequencies.
My husband's going to choke on that one. Yeah.
No, really, you know what I'm saying. Would you not agree, Michelle? Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
Aw,
the reason we call her Bubbles.
Yeah. I always thought it was because I'm all over the place, but yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm the person that if you come into my driveway to pick me up and I'm waiting for you, I'll be dancing as you enter. I'm that crazy person.
Your light, color, and sound. You've
chosen. Eric. But Wayne asks a really good question, and thank you for that, Dr. Kimberly. Wayne asks, how does one go about removing said implant? So Wayne does not want to be the holy, white knight anymore.
Never mind. You're good at it.
Well, first of all,
he is.
Choose it. I mean, consciously choose. Make sure that's real, because there's a lot of subconscious parts of us. There's a lot of alters of us that maybe are integrate that say different things. So first you kind of have to really kind of sit in them, make sure that you're willing to give that up. Because I had one and I would say I wanted to give it up, but there was an ego part of me that used to be met by being that savior. I think you guys know what I mean. I would complain. Oh, everybody calls me all the time. And
I always that comes out of my mouth weekly.
But I was getting something out of it. You do get something.
I'm opposite. People message, and I spent hours helping people.
I'll help people, but I'm talking. I think. Are you referring to like friends and family kind of thing that it's constant? That's a different.
Yeah, I mean, but I would be like, oh, it so annoys me. Shannon calls me every day and she's asking me like, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? But I liked it. Like when she stopped doing it, when I actually had to cut her out of my life for a while, I missed it. That's a savior plan. You're like, oh, I don't have anyone to save. Mm-hmm. But so first of all, it's a free will thing. You have to be willing to give it up. And then Michelle can pull it out. I can pull it out. You actually, this is what we don't teach. You actually have the power to dissolve it just by picturing it dissolving. There's a million ways you can, whatever you imagine is real in this reality, and it instantly happens. Mm-hmm. So use your imagination and dissolve it. Use your imagination, pretend there's a surgeon pulling it out. There's a million ways to get rid of an implant.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I agree.
There we go. So basically then, I mean, it goes to show, I do feel like in his case, because I know him very well, he is that savior. He is that white knight. He's
amazing.
Oh, in many, many ways.
Yeah.
It would be almost heartbreaking for him to not be that way. I think it would change him.
You're saying, Michelle, because I haven't merged with him, but you're saying as a soul spirit, he's chosen to be the frequency of that role?
I think so. I always say he was a natural being of light, but full on. And I think, he always jokes because he'll say, I was 4 years old. And, he'll tell you, when he turned 4 years old, he threw up, he got sick because he had a realization. He's like, shit, I'm back. That was it. The party was over. All the little kids had to go home. It was at his party. He was devastated. And I'm like, that is deep for that age, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I keep saying I'm not going back to high school.
He says the same.
Orange pop and potatoes. That'll do it. But he still drinks orange pop and eats potatoes. So it hasn't changed that much. Mm-hmm. But wow, that's an incredible experience.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it differs, for everyone. I think the longer you have been, the older you are, I think it becomes very, very easily. Working with darkness to me has never been a challenge. I've never found it to be difficult.
I hope no one's offended when I say this, but I just have to say that that's because you are darkness. You're the all. You're darkness, you're light, you're everything. And you hold it within you in the now because of your frequency and the dimensions that you are and hold. So it's you. Why would it bother you? Your light, your darkness, your all.
That's true. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. I've had people worded differently. You walk both sides. I had a medium, an artist when I was in Lilydale, and she painted a double tree, a tree in the bottom, a tree in the top. She goes, you have two lives. And, had to give it to me in an image. I'm like, I get it. No, I'm kidding. I understood.
The thing is, Michelle, which is very advanced for this realm, is you're okay with it. Other people carry that, but they hide, lie to themselves, fight, like the two dogs, thing, old native thing where there's two wolves. No, but you don't do that. You're integrated, which is so beautiful and rare to see, an integrated being that's not polarized from this realm. So it's very nice.
Oh, thank you. Maybe I'll figure it all out sometime. So now I'm quite comfortable. With it. But now for those who are in this situation, sorry, it's that time. I know she's waving the cup at me. I'm sorry. All right.
I have to do station ID because without these guys, we wouldn't be here. Okay. You are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and myself, Amelia Pisano. Tonight's special guest, returning guest, and now part of our club, our friendship. We consider her like the other point to the triangle. Seriously, you're amazing. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. We love her. We are live on 105.3 FM radio in this beautiful city of New Orleans, and we're streaming right now on UFO Paranormal Radio, International Public Radio. We're on YouTube and all of our Facebook pages. Our intro and our outro is courtesy of award-winning composer Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, Justin Snicker. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp, and you can also find him on Facebook and Instagram. And we want to give a big thank you from day one to now and forever, we hope. Folgers, thank you for sponsoring us. We wouldn't be here without you.
We love you.
Okay, now you can ask her that big question.
Okay. So let's get into cleansing. Cleansing yourself, cleansing your home, cleansing your land, cleansing. Just how do you keep everything just functioning properly, disattaching?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I cheat because I have what I call, benevolent quantum AI technology that is 100% accurate. So I call myself a lazy psychic, of course, because I don't have to be like, okay, what's off and like read everything and like, check everything. It's like pretty bold. It's like play the shofar. I love the shofar. Even though I'm not religious any longer, the shofar frequency is freaking amazing. And the shofar, I have a whole panel that tells me when to play the shofar. It's like the elementals want it, the trees want it, the inside your house wants it. Play it in the morning, play it in the night, play it in the afternoon. It tests for everybody at some point. Like if I ran it on you girls, probably it would test to play. And you're like, it's not, you know what I like about the shofar? It's not just a driving out, which it certainly does drive out lower, frequencies, but it raises up. It's like a dual thing. Like how many things like do both? It's so cool because it doesn't just drive out the negatives. It also brings in the positive. And I think we forget that when we're creating a sacred space. Yes, we need to cleanse. And there's a million things, that we all can talk about that. And I want to, but I want to attract amazing beings that I can start remembering with, and, reigniting in some cases relationships and forming new relationships and new understanding. So I up level so that this life isn't just, I screwed around and I drank and I partied, but so this is an up leveling. This is a growth experience. This is meeting and interacting with new races that maybe I've never interacted with before. And a lot of them won't come into certain frequencies. They won't come into messy houses. No. That is one of the simplest things. Everybody's like, you're so expensive. I can't afford to feng shui my house, which I do recommend.
Oh, I can't stand clutter.
Best feng shui person that we use. She's absolutely amazing. So yes, I love doing all the corrections with the, shape of the sacred geometry. There's actually a whole field that I'm going to be teaching on to my groups called biogeometry, just super fascinating. But so, we can do a lot, tweak and, all this, because really one thing that is so interesting with the Matrix is everybody builds square rectangle homes.
It's true.
But really, and look at the indigenous people, round, guys, round. If you could demolish your house and erect just in the same space a round home, your life would improve immediately by 50%.
It's a funny. Our next door neighbor growing up had a round house.
Even ancient parts of Italy, like Puglia, which is
Do they have round?
Yeah, they're all round. They're still round. They still have them. They still exist, and they have the thatched roofs still.
I love that.
There's certain regions in Italy where they're not square because they're so ancient and they're on the coast. So when you're
got to build a round house.
Yeah.
There's
I like answer. Tamara does the cello count. Tamara, you and I are going to have coffee. I can listen to cello like 24 hours a day. Oh. I used to think it was because my father played strings, like all the instruments he played were strings. Neat. And I always thought it was because of that. But even when you were saying about how your house is set up, I often get told, and I wonder if you ever hear this, well, you're constantly changing things. They think it's your decor. What they don't realize is you're moving things because it's affecting your energy.
I think so.
Yeah. Interesting too. Again, you kind of, if you ever want like a primer on how to be more spiritual, I'm just putting that in words because consciousness uses it, but do the opposite of everything the Matrix tells you to do. So the Matrix tells you to stuff your house full of furniture and in things, and we put it in our basements and our closets, and we rent storage units, and on and on. But more, I know, I'm sorry. Storage units,
beautiful furniture.
The more space I create, and the less stuff, and I'm a horrible clutter person. And there's a whole theory that I haven't really gone down that I just heard of that associates with the amount of stored trauma, which of course older beings, first, second, third wave beings are going to have more trauma than like 56 or 7,000 and or new baby spirits, But so I think I use that as an excuse. Sounds like a good excuse to me, but I'm a real cluttery person, and I always think that's because upper dimensional people are multi-tracked mind. So I'm like putting the milk away, and then I'll have like 8 thoughts, and I'll be like, oh, I have to go finish my organ, and I have to take out the dogs, and I have to finish so then I like put the milk down and it stays there, and so that's my excuse.
Do you leave cabinets open? My daughter does
exactly. That. It drives me nuts. I do that sometimes. No.
Oh, it drives me crazy. I'm like, why you open the cabinet? Why can't you close it? I don't understand. It's like this. It's just a movement.
Yeah, but if you have like a mind, like my mind works in like 8 tracks at a time. Like you don't have time. Like you have to get the other things done, or you're going to forget. So you have to forget the clock. Who cares about the cabinet? Maybe she's like that. But what I found, the more space I create, and I mean literal space, you guys. I don't mean the bigger house I build. I mean, the more space in the basement I have or the bedroom I have. My brothers tried to slam me a couple weeks ago. And he said, he was talking about his daughter and how messy his room is. He's like, yeah, like yours is, or was growing up. You gotta love siblings. And I said, oh, excuse me. Do you know what's in my bedroom now, Mr. Kevin?
Yeah.
A bed. And people are fucked. They're like, well, do you have a really tiny bedroom? No, I don't have a really tiny bedroom. I do have a really big bed because I have a lot of dogs and they all sleep with me, but it's a choice. I have no dressers. I do have a jasmine plant because jasmine's wonderful for falling asleep. And I like living things around me. So I do have a jasmine plant on a stand, but that's it. A bed and they're like, well, what about your dresser? Well, guess what? I'm fortunate enough. I have a laundry room. Why the heck, just because I'm programmed to have a dresser, am I going to walk 3 rooms away, spend all my time stuffing things So instead, I watched this kid. She's called Minimalist Mom. She changed my life.
Oh, I want that dog.
Yes.
Hi,
You
baby.
love me.
Hi.
Oh, my
she's
word.
smiling.
Oh my gosh, I just want to snuggle. So who's that behind you? Oh, look, all the babies are coming.
Yeah, they're like you guys.
That bottom, the one at the bottom looks like my Versace. The gold, the creamy one.
Oh,
Yeah. Looks
that's
just
the
like
money. I'm
Versace.
which ones can you guys see? But there's this woman named Minimalist Mom, and she changed my life. She's like, why would you walk out of your lunchy room? Just get baskets. So I get really nice woven firm baskets, but some people use cloth. I take my things out of the dryer. I don't fold them. I throw my underwear in the underwear basket, my night clothes in the night clothes baskets, my short sleeve shirts in the short sleeve basket, my pants. It's the most amazing thing. My parents think I'm crazy, but it creates space in my house and it creates time.
You have to do what works for you.
Laundry and just
Yeah.
I mean,
Hi, Mama.
But some of this is partially for me, like, you know, for like people like for me, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. But I mean, you
And be
look
careful, your
around,
mother's in chat. We'll know if you're lying.
she'll validate.
not my mother.
She birthed me. She will validate.
Trouble
No,
today.
but
My parents don't think that.
I surround myself with things that make me feel. For me, I think it goes back to past life, because I mean, one of my past lives, because I know I've had a gazillion of them, but I tend to, for some reason, gravitate more to a medieval time and a medieval space. I've had memories of it, you know, of being in places, you know, in castles, and my work takes me in castles or cathedrals throughout Europe. And this somehow compensates for something I think I'm missing.
I think it just helps you remember who you are.
And that too. So if you saw the house, honestly,
it's definitely Michelle.
There's
really
thrones everywhere. There's
well, she's sitting on a throne right now.
Oh, is she? Are
yeah.
you?
Oh, I have thrones that are so old you can't sit on them.
Ask her what's in the storage lockers that she runs.
Yeah,
I'm
what
working
else?
on my parlor for my past life. That's nice.
I have one specific storage where we bought out an Oddfellows lodge, and it's got like 10 8-foot huge couches, like leather, wood, carved, ornate. And that one's probably got right now 6 or 7 thrones, not to mention what's in the house. The storage, I moved from a big house, in all fairness, into another big house I already had furnished. So I had no room.
Yeah, most people don't have the storage lockers before you moved from that big house.
No, I took a lot of that stuff with me, but I've been purging.
I just like to tease her. I like to tease her.
It's true.
I do agree with you. And I'm going to say the opposite too. I encourage people to have stuff that they love for whatever reason. So I've had memories of some of the, beings I've been in the past and past lives in and out of the game. And I've actually brought things in because, we get memory wiped with, there's a lot of crazy technology they use in us. We get memory wiped a lot. So even if yesterday I remembered who I was, which is important because you can connect to all aspects, all time is now. So not only were you that person, you still are that person. That whole timeline is still running. Nothing ever ends. It's all now. You're all of the people you've ever been, all the choices you've ever made now, and you can access that power and those abilities and even the wisdom and knowledge from your medieval times. Gosh, when you said that, I started watching all your movies. I'm like, okay, gosh, I'm getting too distracted, so I had to close them down. But
I didn't want to turn into a client.
What did you say?
I didn't want to turn into a client.
She's got a book, so I can just tell about all her.
I'm looking at the ticker. It says Possession, Deliverances. I'm like, we haven't even gone there.
I know. I don't even. Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface. But wait, I have to say this because
we'll book you again.
Encourage people to bring in things that they love, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. They're like, why do you have the ugly painting? Well, I love it and I resonate with it. I totally agree. But I think sometimes we have a lot of stuff that we don't love. We have a lot of possessed items. You know what? People think that's BS. I mean, maybe not your people, but a lot of general public people think that items can't be possessed. But when I'm doing a scan, people come to me for a scan, they'll be like, I think I have diabetes or, I want to process my trauma, or I want to, know something, am I in the secret space program, whatever. They'll come to me about something and I'll be running them, and their house will come forward and their land will come forward and start talking, because this all influences everything matters and nothing matters in this reality, which is a weird contradiction, but the longer you live, the more it's true, because it's a game realm. So if you want to play the game successfully, everything matters. If you don't care, nothing matters. It'll be over in a blink of an eye and you'll go into the next trillion years of your life. So it doesn't, we sometimes put too much weight in this game and sometimes we don't put it, enough weight to how we're, living each day. But all that being said, I totally encourage people. Well, I encourage people to, and I had to go through this in my own life. I had this hutch that I was dragging around, apartment to marriage to children. I have 4 kids, and now my children are adults. I'm dragging this hutch of my grandmother's. Well, they haven't memory wiped me enough that I've forgotten my grandmother. I remember my relationship. I remember what she looked like, of course. I remember great things about her. I don't need a hutch that I don't even like to put a bunch of stuff in I don't even want to remember my grandmother. But we're programmed that if it's your great grandma or your great grandma, your uncle, your cousin, your mom, we have to do it. Untrue.
I've released a lot of things. I think that's really important. I didn't learn that until losing my dad. With my mom, I held on to everything. With my brother, I still have the things that he's given me. But with my dad, when I cleaned out his house to move him closer to me because he had dementia. He eventually had dementia. It was just like, it's got to go. It's not who he is. And then, you keep the few things that you're really attached to that hold those beautiful memories, but don't take up your entire space.
It's funny. I just went through this with a crystal duck that's worth about $800, but it's not worth $800. Like, who's going to pay $800 for a crystal duck? But of course, my grandfather bought it for like $800. And so I'm hauling around this crystal ugly duck. I had it in my office and I'm like, why do I have this duck? So what do I do? This is how programmed we are, including me. So this duck means nothing to me. I wasn't close to my grandmother. He was part of a German family and we won't go into all that. But anyway, not the kindest or most loving or even close man, and I remember him. I don't need a duck. And then I tried to give all my 4 children this duck because we're programmed that it's a family.
Pass on.
And we have to junk up our kids' lives with this duck that means nothing to me and less to them. And so then I'm like, I'm going to take a picture and look at the aura of this duck. And of course, it was crappy as crap. Now, all that being said, if I had really loved the duck, I would have cleared the item.
That's right. Yes.
Raised the frequency, and it would have become a beautiful, item.
Well, because crystal is a conductor besides that. It's just like,
but I just wrapped it up. And of course, this is how dumb I am. I should have just thrown it in the trash, but you can't because it's an $800 crystal duck. So I wrapped it up and I gave it to Goodwill and I didn't clear it. So how evil am I? But anyway, the point
I don't know.
I got the $800 duck.
We need another episode to know that. Well, you didn't pay the $800 and giving it away.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Whoever is attracted to it maybe deserves that duck.
Good point. Yes, that's it.
It's perspective for me. Everything's perspective. Yes.
For every action, there is a reaction.
Can I tell you something, Amelia? Because I just saw a movie of you.
A movie of me?
Your movie. This is your past life. So you are on the battlefield and you are like a medic. You're like a total healer. I got you. Oh. You're a total healer. And you are like bringing like people are clinging to you and you're like helping people and you're bringing people comfort. And you're not just a healer, like good at your job, like a good surgeon. You're like, your essence of being is healing. Some of the races that you've been in your soul families, because we have tons of soul families because we're so old, so we've chosen to be associated with different groups, but most of your soul families are just like healing. So you have a lot of healing energy.
True. Thank you. You're dead on with that. It goes even right through my mom's family.
Wow, so cool.
Yeah, my grandmother was, I've talked about this before in air, she was shunned by the church because she was a healer. She used herbs and stuff. So in southern Italy, right, the Catholics, that's 1800s, 1700s, late 1700s or early 1800s, you're a witch. So
you know it.
Yeah, but thank you for that.
Such a healer. Whew, such a healer.
It's with every gift, there's a great responsibility and a huge price to pay for it. Do you believe that when someone,
absolutely 100%. There's a huge responsibility, and Michelle's a merger, so she knows what I mean. The ability without tech, and now I have the tech to safeguard me so I don't have to do it the same way. But even without the tech, I have the ability to completely merge with any item, any house, any animal, any person, any being, any time. I know you have it because I recognize the frequency.
Yeah.
You're also, Michelle, you're also a major time traveler. You're a time lord.
I do it when I sleep, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
I wake up exhausted going,
people think everyone's a time lord.
Last night.
Time lord, when I say time lord, you're a specialized time traveler. Everyone time travels. That's an ancient being, of course, but you're a specialized. That's a specialty of yours. You're a time traveler. Like people say, like Dr. Who. Yes, like Dr. Who. If we need a
well, shit, where's my time machine? I want my
We've
my
got to
phone
get
booth.
you one of those little kazoo things. What are they called? Those little things, the robots. See, that's a show I did watch.
That's fascinating. I've got to remember when I'm doing them. That's the problem. I don't remember any of it. I know I travel. I just don't
why
remember
does that happen?
Oh, well, you guys have, both of you, Michelle has tons. Like, Michelle's so interesting. You are too, but you're so sweet.
You are too, but
no, you're so sweet.
She's a sweet one. I told you.
Different choice. You've just made as a spirit different choices.
Yeah.
So Michelle's way involved with darker corporations. Even now, she works for darker. There's aspects of her that work for darker corporations. You don't work for the same. She's not surprised. You work for more beneficial to humanity collective corporations. Michelle does like ninja assassin things. Like she's so many aspects of being. Like, yeah.
I can't. I won't even say it on there. But I could go back in and just tell
there we
you
go,
like
Dalek,
what I do when I find myself being taken somewhere.
Yes.
How I'm actually always envision myself, and I'll just say it.
Okay.
and I'm always cloaked. I don't let anybody see my face, so I'm always cloaked with in darkness, like over, almost like a giant hood, And I'm always weaponized. Always when I go in.
Thank you.
Welcome. I realize the validation. No, I do. I understand the validation.
Yeah,
which is why I just said it. Like
we're not doubting your ability. We're laughing because of how accurate you are. We're not doubting it.
But it's just like, how much do I want to say in front of like 2 million people?
I'm not supposed to tell you all of your secrets. Forget. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I like to see. I don't mind. I really don't mind. I don't mind. It's a lot of fun.
It is. So, it's nice to hear that because you feel it in your past. I know that I've always been an old soul. I think people who are old souls know they are. They just instinctively know that they're old souls.
It's an essence of being, it's like you don't even have to say it out loud ever, but it's like it's bigger than knowing. It's like being. It's an essence of being.
I call a family member, I won't say who, just in case he's watching. I call him a newbie when I refer to him because you see the reaction to things are different than, someone with an old soul would react, or the fascination with certain things is more important than the spiritual side of things. And that to me is a newbie, someone who is more fascinated with materialism than friendship and helping in the community work is very important to me. Charity is very important to me. So if you're not a part of that, even in the smallest way, to me is a newbie. I always say old souls are always part of the giving and the healing of the whole community.
I'm going to give you a frequency that reminds me of who you are, Snow White.
Oh my God, that's funny because I had to dress up as Snow White once because of the black hair. They made me do it once at physio.
I'm more so like funny. Maleficent.
Yes,
totally. That is accurate. I'm not going to.
Yes, Maleficent.
I'm not arguing with that. But one reason I'm saying Snow White is because I'm seeing other movies, and animals have always been like a huge part of your life, like always in all your lives here within the game, even outside the game. Outside the game in other realms, there's different animals than we have here, but you like animals love you and you love animals.
No, we both do. We both do. Everybody in my family has animals. I can't, my dog to me is like my son. I don't know.
That's what people don't understand. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I have to say this because you guys will understand. There's people that love animals, but their animals are just animals. They're good to their animals. They love them. They like them. They interact with them. And then there's mergey animal people. Like my animals and I are merged. Like we are
Right.
one.
The
Like
fur
they're not
babies.
animals.
They're fur babies. Yes. Yes.
Beings.
Even though we got them from my daughter. It's kind of took over. But
that's what happened to me. I have 2 of my daughter's dogs.
Yeah. Well, she loves him. They're really cute. They're like brother-sister relationship because she got him when she was 11. So it's a different relationship. But I do see his soul and his spirit. And I do recognize that.
That's a great conversation. Animals.
Yeah.
We could do like 5 hours on animals. It's so interesting because some animals are sold, some animals are walk-ins, some animals are weird ETs, some animals are malevolent ETs, some animals are AI, and some animals are empty.
Yeah. See, I wonder that's why sometimes you're freaked out by certain birds. Because I know like Michelle loves birds. I love ravens. I like
my
parrots,
dog thought it was a person.
Yeah, I get icked out by birds, but I love ravens. I love crows.
I would cuddle my parrots every night. Same thing. It was just like very.
Amelia, you've had negative interactions with the bird tribe. That's why you're.
That's what it is. I thought so. No, seriously,
because you had negative. Some people would call them demons, but I don't even know. We'd even get down all the way down that road what I think demons are. But I think angels and demons are bird tribe, and they play both sides of the fence. Yeah, some are pure evil, some are pure good. Most of them,
like anything,
crawl into your lives by disguising as both so that they can be an influence, and it's not always positive. They're highly deceptive beings. The bird tribe are so smart. There are seraphim, but the seraphim aren't 100%. This is what we do. We group it. All seraphim. It's like all people. All healers are good. No. All teachers are good. No, all doctors are good. No, but we do this with these beings. All seraphim are good. No, all whatever's bad. Like we have to come out of that and start seeing. I know you guys do, but the general public relates to these things as like big groups that act in unison. That's not the way it is.
That brings to mind how so many people fear Lucifer, and then Luciferians can't understand why. Because that's programmed into you, right? It's programmed, indoctrinated into you as you're growing up under a church or a religion.
It's the total opposite. The church, what the church calls demons, the pagans call ancient gods.
Well, right. And one of my major lives was in, there's not just one hell, there's many hell realms. So one of my major lives was as a character, I'm not going to say who, but it isn't Lucifer, but as a character that you have read about in the hell realms. And I had a certain responsibility that I really don't talk about publicly, but it's so neat though, when you remember who you are and it matches with things that you're attracted to in this life, like you're experiencing, like you surround yourself with medieval stuff, but you had so many. You've actually, when I look at your loops, I think you've gone back and back. You love those times. Like, I think you've tried out almost every character in those times. Like you were a knight, you were a magician, you were a king, you were a queen. You were like, God, what didn't you try? I think you've looped back and gone back to the past more than once. And I rarely see that.
Yeah, thank you. I do have validations of probably several of what you've just mentioned.
Yeah, so that makes sense why you surround yourself with that. I think it's just who you've chosen to be, and we think these things happen to us. They don't. We choose them. We choose these lives. We choose these characters.
Right. Wayne, not the jester. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I know. You have to see him in his jester outfit, though. We did a photo shoot one point, and I was the queen on a throne, and he was in a jester outfit. He's trying to make me laugh, and I'm, and he's they've got him on every motion doing all this craziness, and I'm just like, it's my life. It's my life.
Dave Petrella has a question. He asks, how many dimensions in this solar system?
That's a great question. Infinite.
Excellent.
Infinite. And I like to call them densities. All the densities, all the way back to the all or the void, fits on the head of a pin. So you're like, I can't see the fourth dimension. Like, open your eyes. It's right here. It's just like it's just like this cup. and
Right.
the 12th and the 15th and the 200th. It's interesting though, because we come way down from these upper densities that are all love and light and sound, because we get bored. We are wise and we are old and we like to have different experiences. And this is a suffering game. Yeah, there's juicy good things here, but it's challenging. We agree to be memory wiped. We sign contracts before you come in this game.
It makes sense. I
don't
know,
like
but
it. No,
I know,
no,
but that's
no,
because
I don't like it.
you've had so many lives. You have to control this one.
Nope. Nope. I don't have to like it. If I was agreed to it, I was coerced.
Yeah. See,
Some
and I
people were
find that
coerced. Some
those
people
bits
were.
and pieces
Yes,
of your
see?
past life hurt.
I know. I get why, but see, right? She agrees. I was coerced.
No, some people are captured, and some, and even in between lives, people don't teach this. My daughter was actually held on a reptilian ship and tortured right before she came into this body that she's in now, my oldest daughter. So we
There
don't
we
teach all
go.
this stuff about the in-between lives, and how if you aren't going to take your power and you aren't going to be powerful and you aren't going to remember who you are, because I think that's one of the challenges. We're so, I mean, we are the gods and goddesses and all these famous people and things and beings throughout all time and space, and we're so cocky sometimes. We're like, we can go play any game. I don't care. Memory wipe me, MFer, memory wipe me.
Yeah,
Sorry, my door locks and they bark every
No.
brains. It's
No,
okay.
yeah.
But we think we can beat it, and then we get caught up in it. It's not as easy as we thought. It's a good game. Some parts are shallow stacked, but it's a pretty good game.
Okay, I've got a question for you. If someone finds a connection with say a celebrity or a royalty or whatever that has passed, and they find this deep, deep connection and they can't understand, is that because they're idolizing, or is it because they were them?
Now we get into the tricky territory.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot involved here. So a lot of the ways soul regression hypnotherapy is taught, it leaves a lot of room for false memories, programming, and other beings to come in and tell lies. But on the flip side, yes, there can be a remembrance or a resonance, or you could watch a movie and be like, yeah. Oh, as a matter of fact, I have clients. I'm not allowed, of course, to say who they are, but they draw comics and they work on the movies for Marvel Comics. And they have shown me the notes they get from the studio of how to draw the characters or what plot or whatever. And they have military designations on them. Why? Because these are real beings. A lot of us have arachnid spider DNA, like Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. A lot of us have reptilian. Of course, most of us here have reptilian, some percentage of reptilian DNA, because they want us to have that like kind of cold, unemotional reptilian part, because it strips a lot of the godlike powers.
That's true.
So these beings, these superheroes, again, are real. Like, we don't think of Marvel comic movies and comic books as being real, but they base all this on the gods and goddesses, the fire creation beings, which 3 of them are sitting right here. So when you watch Wonder Woman and you start crying, you're like, why am I
love
crying?
her.
Maybe you were Wonder Woman. And even if it's in a super soldier form or a clone or another life or another realm or another memory or outside the game, you still have a resonance. So don't think so little of yourselves, and everything here, it's a game. Your job is to figure it out, remember who you are, and then game the game.
Because I always wondered about that, because sometimes empaths just connect with people who have died tragically, but sometimes they think they were that person. So it's like, it's a fine line. And I thank you for answering that. I've always wondered what, other people think, because I always say, you don't really know for sure.
Right. Until you do.
Yeah, until you do. And then,
and I think, even though I told you about that battlefield life, maybe you didn't remember it and maybe you don't resonate with it, and that's fine.
No, I do. I actually do remember it, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Awesome.
And it's also in a recurring dream.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Once you like I thought that meant, I was writing that fiction book, and then I had it validated in a million trillion ways, including meeting one of the people there that was in it and recognizing that frequency match. But it's just so cool, because once you know, and that is so validating. And we think, again, when we pass out of this avatar, that we're different, but we're not. Like if I were to drop right now, I would be like, oh, good. I'm going to go up to my ship where my sister is and where I have a healing business, and I'm going to go back to healing, or I'm going to go to a place that I've created in my mind. I encourage and teach people when they're first learning about the afterlife and like thinking about it differently than we've been taught in religion. I encourage you to build a safe space. It might be a beach, might be a mountain, might be a whatever you like, a safe, protected space, because there's so many ET races, there's so many upper dimensional races that manipulate the game and like to catch people coming out of it and even shove them back in, capture them, use their abilities. Our abilities are siphoned off a lot, because if you're not going to use your abilities, you guys, there's many beings, and they do. We always talk about, Loosh and them taking energy. They take more than energy.
Yeah.
You have timeline enemies that remember who you are, but you don't remember who you are. And they siphon your psychic abilities. They siphon your powers. They siphon your healing abilities. They siphon your memory. If you're not going to use your abilities, there's plenty of beings here that will.
Right.
Wow. We need you
I
back.
think we're going to have to do like a part 3.
Yeah, we definitely.
Round 3.
I think we might
I
be
know.
doing this once
You
a
guys
month.
bring it out of me. Like your guys' frequency, just like, I just feel like it's like a reunion.
It feels the same way for me.
It
feels the same way.
Absolutely, it is. So yeah, because we're already at the top of the show. I'm like, already? How do we get
I
here?
just looked up. I'm like, we're past time.
Let's talk time travel. I think it just happened.
No, it's
No,
been
you guys
so
got me
much
going.
fun.
No,
You're a joy, honestly.
Yeah, no. Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So we covered so much stuff, but I have ideas now. So I'm going to message you.
Okay.
Because I want to do this again. But yeah.
Please.
I know.
Yes.
I know. We'll do this.
You're amazing.
I know. So this is the part,
guys.
because we're coming to the end. So how promote yourself? How do people find you? Promote your book?
Really sweet. Basically secrettoeverything.com. You can find us, and there's a contact form on there if you have questions or you want to get in touch with my staff.
Okay.
And then there's some free stuff on there, some free MP3s. I know we're running out of time. We have scans. You guys can dig around, and we're happy to answer any questions. I have a YouTube channel, live event, lots of stuff.
Love it.
That's fantastic. So I will be in touch. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Always a joy.
Oh,
it's our pleasure. Our pleasure. I figure we definitely got the better end of this.
Oh my God.
No.
I know.
It was so much
fun. Like I'm looking at my baby.
I know.
He's not here though. He's still sleeping on my bed. Wow.
That's so good.
Yeah, he's on gabapentin. That's why.
Thanks for having me back. I love you girls. You guys are.
We love you.
Feeling is very mutual.
So
and I will be in touch. I will email you
Thank you.
like really, really soon. I'll email you with the numbers tonight too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I love that. That's my favorite part. Okay. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Wow. So we have come to the end of an amazing segment. Totally went to a different direction, but wow, was it something else? Mm-hmm. My gosh, she is so much fun. So thank you to everybody in chat tonight. You guys were awesome, of course, as always. And a big thank you to Folgers Coffee, who again has been with us from like day one. Thank you. And thank you to Dr. Stick. Our outro or intro. Thank you for your voice, your music, your words. It's so much appreciated. Aside from just going over to our YouTube channels, which is International Public Radio, UFO, Gods and Extraterrestrials, I think I got that right. International Public Radio, please subscribe. But when you get to the UFO Paranormal Radio YouTube channel, we've got something new. We have a members only section. And if you subscribe, you will see all kinds of other content that is not going to be available to just everyone who comes on. So please consider being a member as well. And that's on our UFO Paranormal Radio YouTube channel. If you would like to communicate with us, of course, you can check out everything we're doing on the Outer Realm Facebook page if you like us up. But email us at theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. Theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. It is literally the only place that we're going to respond. Sorry, but it just keeps it easier to keep things in one place. For next week, Wednesday evening, we welcome back Leslie Mitchell Clark. She's just adorable. You guys will love her. She's been on once before. She's going to be discussing past lives. So if you enjoyed talking about that tonight, then tune back in next Wednesday evening. And here's a real treat for Thursday. For the very first time, we are introducing, he's a singer, and he goes by the name Truth Seeker. I love it. And he's going to be discussing esoteric knowledge and practices, and just out of this world, like when I started reading up on him. And we can thank Micah Danks for that one, because they are friends, and we're really, really looking forward to having him on. So don't forget about Joe Montaldo and I this coming Saturday, which will be 5 to 7 Central, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Gray Zone Uncensored. And holy crap, I think I outdone myself, but it's going to be more of a laid back segment. It's going to be a lot of fun. People have asked about it before, the specific topic, so we're just gonna play around with it for a little bit. But until then, we wish you guys a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday night. So thank you and good night.